a lot of news that used to be written about me as an actor, and the gossip, the salacious gossip was fake news. Post surgery, it was like I was 90 years old. My body was literally like that of a 90-year-old woman. There were a lot of times when I look back, I said, damn, I could have done that and it would have taken me in a different direction.
Hello everyone, my name is Onam Gupta and you're watching India.com ZEE Media. Today we have with us the 90s queen whose journey from ARG to broken news has been phenomenal, inspirational and motivational. So let's welcome Sonali Bendre.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the second season of Broken News on ZEE5 Global. It's getting great response. How are you feeling?
Fingers crossed, so grateful, loving the fact that we're getting great response, loving it.
Your character is someone who strictly follows the old school journalism and also motivates people around her to, abide by it. According to you, what are those three principles that every journalist should follow?
I don't know if I can say three, but first thing that I would like to say is that I don't know. I don't think Amina is following old journalism because old journalism had its own issues also. It's just that now it's much more obvious, and there was equal amount of fake news at that point. There was equal amount of biased media then also. There was equal amount of corporate ownership, maybe not corporate, but business ownership of the media then also. It's just that it took us longer to understand that this is what was happening. It was hidden much more because of internet and social media. This is more to the forefront now. So
Yeah.
I don't agree with the old journalism label.
Okay.
What I would say is that what does journalism stand for? And that would be that journalism for me would stand for facts.
Yeah.
And to give, because if you're going to talk about, things that's not fact, then it's fiction, and that's storytelling, and that's what I do as an actor. I tell stories. But as a journalist, you're supposed to give us facts, and so that for me, I think, is a huge part of journalism. There can be opinion pieces where you want to form opinion and stuff like that, but then you should be open about it being an opinion piece, and then it's up to me as a reader or a listener or a viewer to say that, okay, this is your opinion, this is your view. Do I have to agree with it or not? I'm clear about it. The fact that you hide your opinions under by saying that they're facts or news is something that I have a problem with.
Yeah. So you just said about the fake news thing, as a public figure by yourself, do you think you have ever been a victim of fake news? And if yes, then how did you, dealt with it?
No, of course I have been. I mean, a lot of news that used to be written about me as an actor, and the gossip, the salacious gossip was fake news, very much fake news. It took years, like 10 years, 5 years sometimes, before it was obvious that this was fake news. People lost interest in it. Nobody wanted to know if it was fake news or not. And things just moved on. But now, when you look back at the various headlines that one was subjected to, there were so many of them which were not true. And there was no checking on that. Social media has kind of given me a voice where I can, kind of come on my own account and say this is fake and this is not true and whatever. At least it gives me a voice. At that time, I had no option but to, I could just say it to maybe three people, four people, but I was always dependent on somebody writing about it to get my voice heard.
So, now we will talk about your cancer journey. Of
Mhm.
course, it is very inspirational, ma'am. And the way you dealt with it, the whole journey was out and out there. We could see it, but my question is when you first came to know about your diagnosis, what was your mindset? And how did you prepare yourself for the rest of the journey?
No, as soon as I came to know, it was devastating. The, the first reaction was to not believe it, to think that it's got mixed up. The reporters got mixed up. That I was hoping that they'll call up and say, "Oh my God, this was not yours. It got mixed up." I was really hoping for that. Then the next stage was I was thinking that it was a nightmare and that I'll wake up and it'll all be gone. And then that didn't happen also. So as time progressed, you kind of, as days progressed, you realize that you needed to accept it, that this was the truth. And unless you accepted it, you couldn't deal with it. So you just accepted it and figured that you needed to deal with it.
Something so touching and very inspirational again, I must say. I saw your picture on Instagram when you were beautifully embracing your surgery scar on your body. And this was indeed so beautiful and powerful again. How did your perception of beauty evolve with this process?
So there was that realness. One would always say that, oh, I'm going to grow old. I understand that. But this journey really, made me aware what growing old was like. Because post surgery, it was like I was 90 years old. My body was literally like that of a 90-year-old woman. And it is slowly I've had to bring it back. And it's, anyway, it's done, and it's a process that will go on. But the point being that I've learned to embrace my imperfections. The fact is that I might have a scar, but like my doctor said, you'll be alive. And that's the fact that, yeah, I mean, I have a scar, I mean, huge scar and whatever, but at least I'm alive. So I'm grateful for that. And
You
that's
became an
beautiful.
example for so many women out there to embrace your imperfections. That post, oh my God, I can't tell you, ma'am. Like, I was, I saw it so many times. It's so inspiring. Again, I have to say that. So, coming to
Thank
your
you so much.
90s ka era, you started off in this industry at a very young age. And being an outsider, not having that many connections, were you actually scared?
I mean, I was scared because it was like this world was such a different world. It was like being on another planet. Not just, it was like a parallel universe, literally. So yes, of course, the scared part was because it was so different and I didn't know anything about it. But I mean, I kept working and I kept getting work, and I mean, I have no complaints at all. I've been outsider who's done really well and who's been embraced by the industry. And my life is, I found a family here and I found an entire lifetime here. So, I mean, I have nothing but, I mean, I, I, I'm okay to be an outsider. I feel this is one industry which gives a chance to outsiders, contrary to what everybody else believes. I do feel that this is one industry where you can't prop up somebody beyond one film. If you don't have the talent, you cannot be propped up. You have to have the talent. And your father could be anyone, your mother could be anyone, whatever. You have to have the talent to survive in this industry. And I don't see that in many other industries. They can prop up the person till for years to come.
Yeah.
So I think this is one industry which is uh, more open to outsiders than most of the other industries. I don't even want to use the N word.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And at the beginning of your career, when that fairness used to develop, that did it used to hamper your opportunities? That because you
Of
have to
course
be
it did, because I was sometimes too scared to actually understand how
have to be
this
very
was a
thoughtful.
great opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you're just so scared of new things, and is it going to be safe? What do I know? So there were a lot of times when I look back, I said, damn, I could have done that and it would have taken me in a different direction. But having said that, it's okay. That's the choice I made. For me, it was the upbringing that I had. So while I had a very strict upbringing, on one hand, it was the same parents who let me explore this world which they knew nothing about. So I cannot complain about it.
So, you said in an interview that you are a very different person when you go on work. You do a switch on and switch off mode, and it's very easy for you to go into that zone. So, it is something that you learn from the job, or it was something you were mindful of from the beginning.
I think it was my family that made me aware of it, because I could be the star on the set and the actor on the set, and sometimes you're playing a role and you kind of carry it back, and your mother is wondering, why am I behaving like this suddenly? And she would be like, make your bed,
Yeah.
clean your room. I'm sorry, you live in my house, you will follow the rules. So that was a crashing down to the ground, you know.
Mothers
There was
being
no,
mothers.
yeah, absolutely. So you had no option but to kind of understand that whatever it is, this job stays outside this door. When I walk into the door, these are the rules of my parents and my family, and this is what I need to live by.
Okay. And so coming back to your series, of course, I would like to ask about any one journalist that you like and also you did follow while prepping for your role.
Uh, there are many of them whom I like and who do great work, but so I wouldn't be able to name one person because I also think that Amina is not any one person.
Hmm.
Amina for me is a thought. Amina for me is a thought process in the sense of
Yeah.
it's so it can't be just one person. It's an amalgamation of various people. It's a amalgamation of various thought processes, you know, that you this is what it is, this is what you follow, and this is what you go through.
Yeah.
So I can't name any one person. It's a thought.
Before wrapping up the interview, I would have a small chota sa 90s ka trivia. My first question. Amir, Salman Khan and Shahrukh Khan, you have worked with three biggest Khans. So, kiske saath kaam karna was more easy and difficult?
Everybody was different in their own way, and I always like to add to this. Every time I'm asked about the Khans, I always say I also worked with Saif Ali Khan, who was the funniest, wittiest, most well-read, one of the most well-read, and great fun to work with. So yeah, Shahrukh, the energy that he has and that he got to the set was amazing. You know, he was just such a live wire that you could not have great energy, or like be on your toes with him around. And Amir, his eye to detail was so thorough that you learned so much from that. I mean, I learned how to think about a character from him, how to layer the character and what was the thought process in it, and that I think I learned from him. And Salman, I think, is one of the coolest Khans in that sense, because he's just it's he appears to be so laid back, and he
Yeah.
appears to be somebody who doesn't care about things, but that's a lie. He is one of the most caring people I know. And if you're in trouble, he's one of the first ones to reach out and be there and ask if you need help.
That's so sweet.
And he pretends like he's not paying attention, but he is so thorough. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's all an act.
Okay. Before starting in the industry, the best advice that was given to you?
Nobody gave me any advice for the industry. But I think I would say the best advice that was given to me wouldn't be advice, but you know, uh, everybody on sets always had mothers. My mother never came to my set, and when I was like, so many things, others mothers come and they help them out and whatever, and will you come? And she's like, listen, if you were working in an office, I wouldn't be sitting on the desk next to you. You're
Mhm.
going for a job, finish the job, come home. I have another daughter at home to take care of. I have a house to take care of. I trust my upbringing. And I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Once that has been said, you have to bloody live up to that upbringing after that.
Yeah, I trust my bringing. That's
Yeah.
great. 90s ka fashion trend that you were completely obsessed with.
I think I was starting the fashion trends in 90s, though it didn't look like that, but nobody else had the body I had at that point of time, was wearing the clothes I was wearing. So yeah.
Okay, and अब हम साथ साथ का एक छोटा सा अगर हम बात करें, what would Preeti and Prem would be doing in today's
No, I don't think I can answer that. There's only one person who can answer that question, and that's Surajji.
world?
Only he can answer that question because all his characters are so him.
Yeah.
The way he details them and the way he's imagined them to the T. So nobody else can imagine them better than him, and only he can give you that answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was lovely interacting with you, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best for your upcoming ventures.